extremely classified document dealing with religion, and it's about that thick.
I want to go back to the religion thing.
Oh, come on, that's so weird.
All right, your objection has been noted.
That we're containers. That's how supposedly the aliens look at us.
You're not the meat suit. You're the synaptic system which learns from past experiences, and you are housed within inside of your skull. The odds that any given individual would be born with their particular genetic makeup is 1 to 16 trillion. That makes you extremely rare. Most people that could have ever been born were not. In fact, that probability of 1 to 16 trillion doesn't factor in your personal life experiences, which makes your individual consciousness that much more unique. Could aliens be interdimensional? Are we in a simulation? The CIA seems to think that we live inside of a holographic matrix. How far out could it really be to postulate that people are capable of non-local projection of their consciousness, i.e. astral projection? After all, magic is just science that we don't understand. Are we passing through time, or is time passing through us? In Einstein's general theory of relativity, time passes neither through us nor do we pass through it. It's actually considered a spatial dimension, like length, width, and height. And every passing moment of your life is simply another point in space-time. In fact, this model, called the block universe, is the most widely accepted in physics. Generally speaking, of course. That's also what makes time travel possible in theory.
It's not that hard to think of higher dimensions spatially for people who do what I do. I want to know whether this is right or wrong so much better, so much more than I want to know whether UFOs exist. UFOs, to me, are an indication of whether I'm right or wrong. Again, I'm reading this off of a page of equations and notes, and you know what they mean in physical reality. In other words, if this thing on the page is true, holy shit.
But if aliens are interdimensional, then what are these little guys? Maybe the physiognomy, or lack thereof, of a non-human intelligence from a higher dimensional plane is simply just not compatible with our dimension of reality. What I'm trying to say here is that the common gray alien, or the little green men people talk about, might actually be a human proxy.
There's one guy in Los Angeles at USC who keeps talking about two-time physics. Multiple temporal dimensions would be a decisive game changer.
As humans, our consciousness experiences the passage of time through the emotional buffer of our endogenous neurochemical processes, or at least what we can perceive using human senses about the entirety of our objective reality. There's this idea shared by physicists like Donald Hoffman that consciousness is actually a fundamental feature of the universe itself. The same man responsible for research in SEAM, the search engine manipulation effect, has also suggested this concept of transduction theory, suggesting that the brain transduces consciousness. After all, transduction is how all of our senses operate. Information from our environment is converted into something that the brain can interpret. You see, because our eyes can perceive visible light in the electromagnetic spectrum.
If we have a future, it means we can leave not the planet, but the solar system.
Extra-dimensional, extra-temporal.
Well, the cosmos are traversable. If we can leave, anything else can visit.
If we're not taking care of the planet, and we're not taking care of our bodies, and we're not thinking about the actions of today and how they can affect humans of future generations, would we be going too far as to speculate that the descendants of humanity are trying to tell us that we did something wrong? Poor environmental conditions like rising ocean temperatures and holes in the ozone pose threats to human biology, and the careless mishandling of waste material leads to microplastics in one's testicles. Evolution implies adaptation to one's environment, regardless of what that environment is. If we're not taking care of the earth, what happens to future generations of humanity? The same way that if you don't take care of your body in the present, you're going to pay for it in your older age.
Look at the entirety of the universe, and you imagine that ultimately there are societies that destroy themselves because they get atomic weapons before they figure out how to leave.
We need to really start restricting nuclear fission to power manufacturing and possibly propulsion systems for space travel.
Some societies are smarter than that, and they'll be able to leave and colonize the cosmos. And for them not to be here would be madness.